Chief Justice, Justice Meyer, Acting Deputy Chief Justice, the celebrant today, Muzi Mbuyiseli Madlanga, former Chief Justice, my homeboy, Nyamezeli Raymond Zondo, former Deputy Chief Justice, Msenege, former President, President Mbeki, my sister, Toko Didiza, the Speaker, and my sister, the Minister, and all judges present and magistrates present here, and colleagues and everybody. Nabo Khatebe. Khatebe, ngicabanga ukuthi kufanele sisho okokuqala ukuthi sizindondo ngiyifuba segqatsha siyazidla umsebenzi owenzile. Ngicabanga ukuthi indimo oyikhathulile kwezomthetho nezokuba umahluleli ikhombise abantu ukuthi ukuba umahluleli ezweni elikhululekile uyini, nokuthi umkhombandlela walaba abaphethe abamajaji ekwenzeni ukuthi inkululeko yabantu ibe ilokho eyayifanele ibe yiko. I'm going to quote you in order to celebrate you, not your judgment, but I'm going to quote a statement that you made on the 17th of November 2019 in an important paper that I think generations will have to read about diversity. Of course, you quote and borrow from the dissenting judgment of Justice Thurgood Marshall in it, and you say this: imagine a man of extremely limited means. He shares a small apartment with his family, his wife, his mother, his sister, and his two small children, one of whom suffers from cystic fibrosis. His wife stopped working because of her pregnancy, and is now focused on caring for the sick child. The man was fired from his job as an insurance agent when the insurance premiums he collected were stolen from his home. When he was unable to make up the sum, his former employer filed a claim against him. Although he has since diligently looked for work, the bad reference from his former employer has made it impossible for him to find another steady job. His family survives entirely on public assistance. His only assets are the clothes he wears, some essential household goods, and a couch in storage. This man desperately seeks to file for bankruptcy, including discharge of the debt he owes to his former employer, so that he and his family can make a new start in life. Due to his poverty, however, he cannot afford the filing fee, which you describe as the filing fee as comparable to the revenue stamp that was used to be required when filing summons or an application. He cannot pay it as a lump sum. He cannot pay it in installments. He cannot borrow money to pay it. He is utterly without options. Close quote. I say this is an epic definition of diversity because in this article you grapple with diversity. And you have brought that in this court. And diversity not because of race or class only, but because diversity means the accommodation of different modernities and different epistemic traditions into a court. And you bring that not because you bring your race, because you bring the spirit of your village, of your township. It would not be diversity if you didn't do what you've done so well in the past decades, which is to bring to this court not your race only, not your gender, but the epistemic paradigms of your people in the village. Because diversity would mean nothing. Would mean nothing if the new assimilated into the cognitive traditions of the old. All we would be is just a group of people, different colors and genders, but all swallowed in Eurocentric approaches of ways of being and ways of seeing. And you have brought that. You have brought to this court something we will be proud of. Dissent, frowned upon by many. But Pius Langa told us that the world was moved by those who dissent. the lone voices. And we as the Pan-African Bar Association appreciate what you've been to this court. We hope that your retirement, which is usually splendid solitude, for one to do the things they have not been doing, for one to reflect, and for one to seek forgiveness for errors that they've made in the stormy ways of life, and sometimes to seek purgatory before they go to heaven. Well, I don't know about you and splendid solitude. You're standing right now at the feet of the beast into whose belly you're about to jump. But your qualities that we celebrate today will stand you great. Those qualities of humility, the ability to listen to others. Most of us like the fact that in this court, in you and others, we found people with our common epistemic backgrounds who could see when we were upset, who could sympathize with us, and we were not invisible to them. You loved the poor, you worked for them, because poverty is not the absence of resources and money, it's the absence of dignity, being invisible to those who dominate the discourse. Lastly, I want to say to you, Mkhulu, you may not be religious, but I know Muzi. I want to close with a quote by Winfrey Phipps for you, which says this: "It is in the quiet crucible of your personal private sufferings that your noblest dreams are born, and God's greatest gifts are given in compensation for what you've been through." And with those words, I want to thank you, Nohatele, and everyone, Nosisi, and everybody, because in you we saw a reimagined South African with an ability to unlearn wrong things that we were taught about each other. We want you to handle that, and please fight the beast that in whose belly you are about to jump. Thank you.